Hello, hello. This is the almost didn't happen live stream. Everything got shut down and how very crazy. All you want to do is talk about astral stuff and the whole thing gets shut down by technical difficulties. So if you are coming on and you are joining, go ahead and say hello. I see a few of you on here already. So welcome. So say hi so that we can have a chat. I don't have the chat on the side box right now showing just because of trolls. And so I'm probably not going to do that. Probably not gonna leave that there. But is everything? Somebody give me a thumbs up. How's the sound? Can you hear everything? And I'm just still. Hi, Mara. Great. So there's clearly sound. That is perfect. So welcome. Yes. So I had this weird astral travel to. Thank you, Mara. I had this weird astral travel, and the reason I say weird, it's not that it's very strange that I walk in my dreams. I taught myself how to do that when I was about 15 years old. And if you happen to read the article on Medium about my astral travel to Ukraine, there is actually a link as to how I do this thing that I fondly call dream walking. I got super interested in doing that when I was about 15 years old, something like that. I read this book, and it was all about dreams and how you learn things in your dreams and you process things in your dreams. And so, in my strange way, I was like, well, I wonder what would happen if I started watching myself in my dreams to see what I was learning, to see what was happening with me. And I don't know that I knew how to do it or didn't know how to do it, anything like that. But what I started doing is before I went to sleep, I would do a little meditation, and then I would set my intent to walk beside myself in my dreams. And I was going to then look at what it was that I was learning, what I was processing, those kinds of things. And my fingers are too. I'm getting some comments here. I'm trying to link it, but thank you, Angela. Welcome everybody. So I just would set my intent every night, and I always remembered my dreams. I would have 5, 6, 7 dreams. So if any of you, like, I'm curious, do you remember your dreams? I've always remembered my dreams for as far back as I can remember. They were very vivid. I even had recurring dreams, and I never knew what they meant. Sometimes they scared me. Of course, after many years of all the spiritual work and things like that, it's only now that I'm kind of understanding what happens in our dreams, where we go, what we do. So I taught myself how to do this dream walking, and even eventually it went to the recurring dreams that I used to have, which, as it turns out, were really all about building foundations and things like that, and feeling unsafe when I was small. But I would watch myself, and my only rule in the dream, in that space, was that I couldn't change whatever was going on in there. I didn't want to change anything because I wanted to actually look and see kind of really what was going on, really what was happening. And at first it was hazy and I'd remember a little bit of it. And then the more time went on and the more I practiced it, and I practiced this every single night. So yeah, I was a weird 15-year-old for sure. But I practiced this every night, and slowly but surely, not only did I start remembering the dreams that I was walking beside myself, but I started remembering many of my dreams in detail. I started a dream journal, which actually really helps because when you have a dream journal and you start to remember your dreams, you keep adding on it and adding, adding to it, adding on it, getting depth with it. And then also, in addition, as I was dream walking, I would I was actually learning things from myself in my dreams. And I also knew kind of inherently for some reason that if there were things that were wrong in the dream, like things that didn't belong, like maybe I was, I don't know, on an airplane and there was a football field in the corner. I'm just making that up. I don't know. I don't really remember that part of it. But if there were things that were just really wrong and off, I also knew that to not be my energy in that dream. I knew that it was someone else's energy. So this dream walking I've been doing for years and years and years. Of course, you know that I do the spiritual work and the clairvoyant work, and we do go on astral journeys in our clairvoyant group, and I teach it. I have little astral journeys for my clairvoyant students, and it's really a lot of fun when you can kind of go, and that's just at a very conscious level. My astral travel to Ukraine was nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. I was literally lying in bed and by the way, one of the reasons I wanted to do this particular live is because although I wrote the story, and if you haven't seen it, it's on my timeline. It's those of you that are on YouTube, I can drop a link later. Hey, welcome, Karen. Um, but the reason that I wanted to do this is because there's no way that I could capture what had my feelings and what was really going on that night that so haunted me the next day that I was practically useless. I mean, I literally had the weirdest, worst day the day after. It haunted me. So what happened was I felt myself drifting off to sleep. And instead of going to sleep per se, right? That's what we would do. We would go to sleep. My brain was kind of staying on. And I then finally fell asleep and I woke up at, now I don't remember what time it was. See, I didn't write that down, so I don't remember. That's what happens with dreams, by the way. If you don't write the details down, you're not going to remember. But I woke up, I want to say it was like midnight to maybe 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever time it was actually 4:15 in the Ukraine. So maybe it was 2:15, I don't know the time difference. But that night I had gone to sleep super early. I was being called away. It was like 9 o'clock at night, or might have even been 8:30, went to bed and then had that really acute awareness and then fell asleep. When I woke up, and I woke up, went to the bathroom, did my thing, and closed my eyes, and I immediately had 100% conscious awareness and was looking around my room. I turned around, I looked at my body sleeping. I looked at my cat, Venus, actually looking up. She was looking up at me while I was, in essence, in the corner of the room. And I thought, this is interesting. What's happening? I wonder, where was I called to? Because I knew I was being called somewhere. I'm kind of used to that as a healer. I will get this kind of grogginess and feel like, oh my God, I have to go to sleep now. Or I have always called it my white space. I don't know what that means. It just feels like this kind of white, cloudy space. That's the best way I can describe it. So I'm in my white space, then I'm not, then I'm in the corner of the room with 100% awareness. And then I felt almost a pull, and I found myself standing on a park path. Didn't know where I was, wasn't sure what I was doing there, but I was not walking beside myself. I was seeing with my, in essence, energetic eyes. And I looked around and I saw smoke in the distance and these buildings, and then I heard like planes and bombs going off, and I realized that I was in Ukraine. And that is when I started getting messages from, whether it's angels, ascended masters, God, I don't know, but I was instructed to pray for the whole area. And that's not usually my MO when I'm doing healing work. I don't usually get, oh, go ahead and pray. So I did. And then I was instructed to do various other things. I was sending gold energy all kind of around, not just Ukraine, but Russia. I'll get to that in a second, because you can't just, it's not about, when you called for healing work like that, it's not about choosing sides. There are no sides in spirit. There's just oneness. And what I quickly realized, and this was some of the information that I was getting downloaded from spirit, is that I was there to help the people who had been holding space and protecting others so that the others could live. But the folks that were holding space transitioned. They were killed. And they were basically stuck in that area. And I was there to help release them from that space. And in that kind of prayer space, and I don't know if I was there a half an hour, if I was there 3 hours. In spirit, there's no time or space. But at some point, I remember praying to God and saying, God, could you please protect them from the fear, because everybody's so afraid, and they're experiencing PTSD, and it doesn't matter if it's someone from the Ukraine or a Russian soldier that has been sent to war. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. And I heard this kind of voice, clear as day, say, I can protect you from many things, my child. Yeah, I know I wrote in the story, my dear, but I can protect you from many things, my child. Fear is not one of them. Fear is a body-based emotion. And in spirit, there is no fear. There's only oneness. That's a really profound statement. And one of the reasons that I knew I needed to write this down. And it's also probably one of the reasons I'm sitting here doing this, is because I want to take your questions as well, because I have been fielding email after email from people who read that. And one absolutely, touched my heart when they said they read that and that it changed their life. And that, to me, it was very unexpected. I was writing this down, but it was unexpected to hear something like that. And I couldn't be happier that something like that would change somebody's life. It's just an honor that, if you read this story, if not, I'll throw the links up, but it's on my Facebook. It's kind of everywhere, all around. It's on Medium. If you follow me there, if you don't follow me there, follow me there. I don't have the links, by the way, to throw up right now because I had these technical difficulties earlier. Everything got shut down and I had no microphone or video access. So I was really scrambling. It took me over a half an hour to reboot and get everything done. So this almost didn't happen. Anyway, after I got that profound message, here's where, in all honesty, sometimes I get freaked out by what happens spiritually or energetically or clairvoyantly or whatever it is that you want to call it. Freaks me out too. Um, but I heard air raid sirens and I started to hear people. And like I said, it was, I checked when I woke up in the morning and it was about 4:30 in the morning there. And I knew that it was morning. It was kind of, you know, how you can see the kind of the mist and all that. Um, but I started to hear the air raid siren go off and I didn't panic, but I knew that I needed to leave right then. And some of the beings that were there, the light beings that were there, actually told me I needed to go back. And so I said, okay. And I found myself back in my room, in my body, but I wasn't waking up. It's like I entered my room just the way I left. I had complete awareness of the room. I had complete awareness of my cat who was looking up and actually hissed at me. Thank you. Looked up and hissed at me. And but the strangest thing that happened was that while that was happening, I heard the air raid sirens going off as if I was in Ukraine and in my room, both at the same time. I don't think I wrote that in the story, so you're getting a little bit more from that whole story. But I heard it in both places, and it wasn't like waking up. It was more like I came back to my body and opened my eyes, as if I was just laying there with my eyes closed. So, that was my experience that was quite haunting, as you can imagine. I am used to helping souls transition. I am used to a lot of different things, but leaving my body in that way where I have to go to sleep and then I have 100% awareness is crazy to me. And yet it happened. So a couple of people asked me questions, and if you have questions, drop them in the comments so that I can answer, because I would love to answer your questions about dream walking or astral travel or even that situation. One of the questions I got was about karma and why would this thing happen? Why is this thing happening, between Russia and Ukraine and everything? And again, I am not taking sides here. But what I've seen and what I've been looking at for a very long time, probably actually since COVID started, I've been looking at the energy and have been seeing many, many layers of karma be released around the world in many different places and spaces. And I would see very clearly World War II and the Holocaust and things like that. And so some of this is this big giant release of karma. It's like when a volcano is all before it's going to blow, right? It's like it just keeps the pressure keeps building up and building up and building up, and this is what happens. It's like a volcano. So that's one thing. And also karma, sometimes we think, oh, this bad thing is happening to this one, and this, oh, I have to do this good thing so that um, so the karma comes back to me. Karma is actually not good or bad. Karma is simply an agreement between two beings. And you could have made that agreement in this lifetime, you could have made that agreement in another lifetime, but it always comes down to an agreement and then the fulfillment or ending of an agreement. It's just like it's kind of like a divorce or any kind of contract, right? If we make a contract, we can sometimes cancel the contract, or sometimes there's terms to the contract that we have to fulfill before we can cancel the contract. Things like that. Like if you buy a house, you get a mortgage and you have to pay the mortgage every month, right? So that's a contract, that's an agreement. And actually karma is no different. So we are kind of witnessing this pent up pressure cooker of karma that is now coming out. And we all have a ringside seat. It's not easy to watch. It's very painful if you are an empath. How many empaths and healers do I have in here? How many of you are sensitive? I'm just going to check the comments. But how many of you are sensitive to energy? This is not easy to watch. And we're also watching a lot of bullying and posturing. And in fact, even recently now, as recently as the last 24, 48 hours, I started to hear from people that are not believing that it's even happening. And I find that fascinating just in its own sense, how easily we shut things down when we don't understand. So what was another question that I'm trying to think of? I gotta get your questions. What do you want to know? I know there's got to be some questions out there. Also, I can't tell if you still here, Angela, Karen, Mara. Just checking in with you. Because this is, I don't know, it's just something. Let's see, where are you? Oh, let me see if I could see. Oh, I've got some folks. You're all just you're not being chatty Cathys today. Interesting. So there's no questions. And nobody has questions. So I've got Karen still here and Mara's still here. And there's really no, like, so then tell me, who has had an astral travel or something, a dream where they woke up and it haunted them? Drop it in the comments and I will get and see it. Because that's oh, do you dream in color? That's always a good question. Who dreams in color? And you can even just put a thumbs up or oh, thank you, Emma. My friend Emma is here, and good gravy. This man, I had the most amazing conversation. He has been around the block many times. What a lovely, lovely gentleman. Thank you for being here. I'm so pleased. So yeah, do you dream in color? I've always dreamt in color. Anybody else do dream walking? Do I experience, here's a good question. Did you experience any other senses while you were on your travel, like smell? I dream in color at times. Yes, I actually forgot to say that I did. I could smell the burning. I don't even want to say. It was horrifying. The smell was really bad in the travel. Now I don't when I do dream walking, but this time I did. I had all my senses. I had my touch, my smell, my my hearing, my eyes, and even my taste, because it was like I felt like it got in my mouth. It was terrible. And that was when I started saying, wow, you know what, Dorothy, we're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, that was definitely not a dream walking situation at all. It was so real. That's why it took me down for a whole day. It was so haunting. So thank you for that question. Yeah, dreaming in color. Apparently, there's there's actually a large percentage. I looked it up the other day because somebody told me most people dream in black and white, so I looked it up. But then, um, but then when I looked it up, it said that only like 25% of the people dream in black and white. So I think it's more often than not, but I just see vivid colors, and I see auras and things like that in my dreams as well. So I don't just have I have all my clairvoyant senses when I'm doing the dream walking, but I could see the energy in this astral travel too. So that was super interesting. So Mara, I've had dreams that haunt me, but I don't think they've been astral travel. Yeah. Oh, nightmares. Can I address nightmares? Do y'all know what a nightmare is? And dreams sometimes are very haunting, especially if we don't know what they mean, or I get a lot of people who want to know what their dreams mean. And really, it's more like what comes to mind. But a nightmare, when you have a nightmare or a super haunting dream, it may be that someone else's energy's in your space. And that may or may not make sense. But on an energetic level, we share space with people all the time. And if that's still in our space when we go to sleep, that's it's gonna stick with us, and it's gonna haunt us, and it's gonna create situations in the dream that aren't, like I was saying, like you'll be on an airplane and you'll see a football field like off to the left. So that's really something there. And then you dream in color, but you don't remember your dreams. Mara, if you start writing down whatever you do remember, even if you start jotting just a sentence here and a sentence there when you wake up, you'll start to remember more of your dreams. Still to this day, because it's really true. If you don't write it down, you're gonna forget. So I have a bunch of journals behind me. One of it that is a dream journal, and it's interesting. When I go back and I look, and then I have 100% recall when I'm reading it. So it's great. So yeah, if you start keeping a dream journal, it's actually going to expand, and you'll start to really get a nice sense of yourself and get some good rest all at the same time. I have a friend who won't visit because she's afraid of COVID. We have mandates. I told her not to live in fear and enjoy life. I can't seem to get through to her. Fear is super powerful. Um, yeah, it's super powerful, and there's not much that I can say. You know what? It's what I have found is when people are in fear at that level because they're afraid of dying. And dying is a body thing, the body is what dies. But that fear is very, very real, and unfortunately, because it's so prevalent, no matter where people are also picking up other people's fears. So by the so I'm assuming that that Angela, this is a question. You said you can't seem to get through to her. And what I would say is to really honor how she's feeling, and listen to her, and she'll come over at some point when the fear subsides. Many people are afraid to go out, and they don't. Then there's no mandates whatsoever. So allow her to be where she's at, because you may not be afraid, but it's actually okay if she is afraid. I know that's really hard to hear, but that's we have to honor where each of us is at, where all of us are at any given time. I really feel strongly about that. So you may not be able to get through to her. So just be her friend and be good and be super compassionate and understanding. That's how I'm going to answer that. Karen always wondered what the colors represent that make up an aura. You know what? They're all different. It depends on where you look and how you look, and from where you're looking. I am teaching my clairvoyant students. I'm just about to teach them about the colors of the aura. And there's certain colors that mean sometimes, different things. Like I tend to see orange as very amused, or yellow is very happy, or I don't know, blue can be very calm. But how many different colors of blue are there? How many different colors of yellow are there? How many different colors of orange? So when I'm teaching clairvoyant students, or I'm looking clairvoyantly, what I do is I look at the energy that is making up those colors. What is in that flow? Is it one color? Where did they get it? Is it their color? Is it someone else's? So I wish that there was like a giant, I would say a giant gray area, but it's not really gray. It's got lots of colors to it, even white. If you think about like looking at the snow, I don't know where you are, Karen, I don't remember. But if you're looking at the snow, like there's all these beautiful crystals and things like that. So there's all different kinds of auras. And once my students, like once they get to aura reading, I will be offering up some readings to folks who are here. So chop chop, pay attention, because you might be getting an email or a message from me saying, hey, do you want a reading? So that's what that is. Let's see what is here. Angela says, my son, when he was young, from 4 to 12, used to suffer from night terrors. What are night terrors? Well, it depends. With your son, actually, what I'm seeing is that he had a being in his space that might have come from a male authority figure within the family, is really what it looks like. Maybe his father, something like that. But it wasn't, but it's an actual, so there's all different kinds of spirits, right? We always want to talk to Michael, Archangel Michael, and, Ariel. And I have a whole, my gosh, I have pocket full of goddesses. I have all kinds of ascended master cards and things like that. Actually, I don't even have them in here, but I have my cards and everything like that. But it looks like for him, he was feeling very, very unsafe around a male there. And that was kind of what happened there. I can't tell you, I have clients with kids that would work with me from the time they were 3 and 4 years old for things like that. So it's amazing. So I hope that answered the question. Not even that there was a question, but I answered it anyway. There you go, Angela. Mara, I used to keep a dream journal in college. Yes, just get back into. Isn't it funny? It's for psych class. And so, you know what? It's psych class, but it's psychic class, because that psych part is that part's right. But yeah, the more you remember it, the better. The more you remember it, the more you'll remember. And that's really it. I literally, seriously, I have here. Let's see. These aren't even all of them. These are just all dream journals, and these aren't even all of them. I have like a whole bookshelf behind me, and most of that is their dream journals, or okay, because I'm a storyteller. I do stuff like that, so they're also a bunch of my stories that I want to remember. Karen, so powerful that the universe explained to me how fear is totally human and has nothing to do with the spirit or soul. Yeah, that is really, it was as powerful for me to hear that. And I guess it was super powerful for people to read that as well. And so, Yeah, it's a reminder that fear and Angela, like with your friend, it's really about her body, not her spirit, that's afraid. So it really is it really is something, you know? Um, and it's something that maybe can't be explained. So, yeah, all of this stuff, it can be magical, it can be amazing, it can be unnerving, it can be haunting. Uh, how old was I when I realized I had a gift? How did my family handle it? Okay, so here goes. I don't know if my mom is watching. Mom, are you watching? Sometimes my mom watches and then she'll say hello every now and then and pop on. But so my this is going to sound really strange, but my earliest memory of and trust me, when you're a kid, you don't consider it a gift. You consider yourself weird. You consider yourself in a lot of pain because you're generally healing everybody. I can't believe that it's just me that was an out of control healer. Um, so it really wasn't a gift to see things or to know things about people or to see with a different perspective because it scares people. You have no filter as a child, and so you say things to adults that you see, and they get scared and they throw energy at you. And part of the gift is that sensitivity, that empathy, that compassion that in some ways we're born with. But my earliest memory of something out of the ordinary was I remember, so my brother had been born, my brother Michael had been born, and I was 2.5 when he was born. So this must have been when I was about 3 years old. Because he was sitting in a high chair, and we lived in this teeny tiny apartment, and I I was in my room, and I had my foot. I was like looking at my foot, and there was like this little sort of bald looking being right at the bottom of my foot, which now I know today, of course, was a being kind of in my space. And I remember it being there, and we were talking, and then I didn't like it, and I said, "You need to go. You shouldn't be here." I mean, did I understand that at 3? No. But I just knew it shouldn't be there. And the minute I started to get upset and wanted it to go away, the dang thing bit me in the foot. And that's one of my first memories. And of course, as I'm saying that, I remember now that I actually had a memory that, I asked my mother about good gravy, I totally forgot about this. Thank you for asking that question. Uh, I remembered being at someone's apartment and describing it to my mom, and it was a family member, an older family member, and I described the apartment in great detail, and my mother then said to me, "I don't know how you could know that because I've only been there once, and that was when I was pregnant with you." So I guess that would be the first time, but again, I wouldn't call it a gift, and then growing up, and I'll tie this up a little bit more, but growing up, uh, my father used to call me, my mom, her sister, the 3 witches, along with my grandma. My great great grandmother was a healer, and I'm guessing a reader, um, in Romania. when they lived in Romania before they came here to Ellis Island, and then settled. Some of the family settled in New York. Some of the family then settled here. But Veneziana was a healer, and she used to go stay with people, women who had severe postpartum depression. But I always heard about Veneziana, the healer, and my mother always considered herself psychic. My aunt, everybody is sensitive in my family, super sensitive. So it kind of a family thing. No wonder I was, kind of born and in that way. So Karen, when you ask, how did my family handle it? Well, there was a little bit of, yes, of course we are. So there was a little bit of that. But it's really interesting that even though there was a lot of validation for it, there was invalidation all at the same time. But they pretty much handled it. And then, it wasn't like I said, okay, I'm going to grow up and be a psychic. Yeah, that'll freak out I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in psychology. People were fascinating to me. So how did my family handle it? Well, there was a lot of pain growing up, and there was a lot of trying to numb that pain until finally I found that space to begin to grow and practice and expand all these things that I knew to be true for me. And when you know these things, you just know these things. It is what propels and moves us forward. It is what feeds our mind, body, and spirit. And so, yeah, here I am. These are all great questions. Thank you so much for asking. I know someone had asked earlier on in another space. Somebody had asked that as well, and I vowed I was going to actually come back to that. You are so welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. It's kind of odd not to have a give and take. I'm really good at standing in a classroom and teaching meditation and things like that. And so all of this is all a little bit new, but so it's really nice to know that you're all here. And I've got some of you on Facebook and some of you are on YouTube. Anybody on my page? I'm about to shut down my Facebook page because it's so funny. I just like having all of you on my personal page. So I don't even bother with my with my page. I post some stuff, but oh, you are so welcome. It's my pleasure. I love to share this stuff because these are things that I don't get to share. Imagine walking into a party and, hi, what do you do? Generally, I tell people I sell real estate, depending on the crowd, because that's what I do. But it's nice to have a forum where there's people who are interested and actually want to hear the stories. But even more than that each and every time we get together on these lives, whether you realize it or not, there's a healing that happens. One of the reasons is because I set that energy for a healing. I want everybody to come together, and honestly, when the pandemic started, one of the things that I noticed, I personally was thrilled when things were shut down. I was so happy because what I realized was that all of us were going to get an opportunity. People who are always out and about and busy, 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 busy had to stay home and learn about their own space, learn about themselves, and including me. And so then here we are, and yet we found other ways to connect instantly. We found other ways to cheer on, healthcare workers. Remember early on when everybody was like out the windows with their pots and pans and everything like that? We are resilient and amazing people. And so, when that shut down, we are actually stronger because of it. How many people are you hearing that, let's say, quit their jobs or are changing, but also people got to take classes and turn their attention within and really do some soul searching. So, yeah, there's a lot that goes on. So, for those of you who are here throughout this whole thing, thank you for being here. I'm gonna amp it up. I'm going on retreat. I have a set of mastery courses that I'm doing this weekend. And all the classes that I take are to expand healing and awareness. Have an amazing teacher who points things out and get to look clairvoyantly at things. And that only helps me help you. So keep shooting me questions. You can do it via email. Keep sharing. I just started. So I have a blog that I've had for quite some time. It was Daily Muse at spiritlightinsight.com. Anyway, the Daily Muse, I now started publishing articles on Medium and was accepted into a section called Know Thyself, Heal Thyself. So if you have a Medium membership, please give me a follow on Medium. I don't know. Let's see if I can drop a link. I don't know where it is. Somebody might have to tell me where it is. Where's Andy Brewer when you need him to tell you these things? He knows. I don't even know. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm looking, but it's not helping. It's let's see. Let me see if I can find this. Manage publications. No. I know there's got to be a way to follow me. Oh, here. Wait, this looks kind of right. I don't know. So I'm going to drop a link in the chats. Let's see here. So it's not going to come up on Facebook. I'll have to physically post it there, but it should show up, I would think, on YouTube. Is it showing up on Facebook? I'm gonna head over to Facebook, but I'll have to stop talking so that there's no feedback. Let's see if I can do this. Here we go. Yes, here we go. So there is where I write. There it is, Mara. I just dropped it in there. Yeah, it doesn't like me to. It doesn't. Yeah, it always posts on. It always posts on YouTube. It just doesn't. It doesn't post on. Yeah, I just added it. Yes, on YouTube. Yeah, it links on YouTube. I don't understand. It's tech. So I'm a clairvoyant, and let me tell you something. I have now, in the last probably the month and a half, I have taken out my electrical box. I have fried my microwave. Today, I got kicked out of being able to live stream. It's been insane. So I'm very electric these days. So that's where we are. Yeah, and if you do follow, you could do two things. You can actually follow me on Medium, or you can also get it in your email box. It's up to you. It's kind of my little labor of love right now, which I'm kind of happy about. But today, I wrote. Actually, I revamped an article that I wrote in 2013, which was saying no to others is saying yes to you. So I'm just guessing that there's one or two of you out there that maybe say yes to people a lot. I don't know. But sometimes the healing comes in the form of being able to say no and really owning your space. That actually was just turned down by the Know Thyself, Heal Thyself editors in chief, because I didn't write what I learned from it. Oh well. So you can learn. But what I learned from saying no to others is that I have about 3 times the time that I had before. Very plain and simple. But yeah, give it a read. Join me, invite your friends, and all that. Much it's all appreciated all the way around, because the more it's like the more support, the more I can give, the more I have to offer, and so on and so forth. And the more, you know, energy is amazing in the world. It takes 6 degrees of separation to a whole new level when we're talking about the oneness of spirit. Because as you get your healing, it passes on and on and on. So I will start scheduling these more regularly, I promise. I am going on retreat, as I said, this weekend, but I'll be, checking social media channels and things like that. But thank you all for hanging out and being here. And unless are there any other questions happening? I don't think so. Yeah, I think we're all good. So how I'm going to sign off is you are so welcome, all of you. And yes, we all need healing. So how I'm going to sign off is by saying, we're all in this together. Be kind, compassionate, and give what you have to offer wherever and however you can. It's been an honor. It's been a blessing. And until next time, be happy, be joyful, own your space. Bye now.